Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tina, also known as Little T, and today I'm going to wrap up this summer's reading. Since it is Labor Day weekend and this is officially the end of summer, I'm going to wrap up my summer of reading with the top 5 books I read this summer. Brian and I did spend a lot of time at the pool where we live. It's called The Hub here in Bowling Green, and we oftentimes feel like we live at a resort. We're not responsible for mowing our own grass or trimming our own bushes, and we have a pool at our fingertips, pickleball sort of in our backyard, and it's just very nice to live here with all these amenities. We are grateful every single day. So we're going to get to the top 5 books I read this summer. Hopefully it'll pique your interest if you're a reader like me, or if you're a listener like me. Some of these books I actually listened to while I was walking or laying out at the pool and just enjoyed reading in a different way. I don't often have books in a physical copy. I use my Kindle app or my Libby app from our public library, and it's just easier to get books that way for me. It's less expensive and it just saves me time going to the library since I'm working now. So let's get started. I have this wonderful iced coffee here that I brewed just a little bit before this video. It's got some caramel flavoring in it, some decaf coffee, and ice cubes. And this is just a regular old mason jar. And I love to shake it like this. And it gives the coffee a wonderful, I get the lid off. It gives it a wonderful head of foam like that. So let's take a sip of the coffee and get started with the books. I'm going to read the synopses on my phone instead of writing them out myself or trying to remember every detail on my own. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's by Gabrielle Zevin, and it took a very long time to get it on my library app as it was very popular and a lot of people borrowed it. But once I had the book in my hands, but really on my phone, it took me only 3 days to finish this book. It just draws you right in, and it's about video games, which I have really zero interest in, but it's more about a friendship than it is about video games. So let's see what this was about. In this exhilarating novel, 2 friends, often in love but never lovers, come together as creative partners in the world of video game design, where success brings them fame, joy, tragedy, duplicity, and ultimately a kind of immortality. These friends, intimate since childhood, borrow money, beg favors, and before even graduating college, they have created their very first blockbuster video game. Overnight, the world is theirs. Not even 25 years old, Sam and Sadie are brilliant, successful, and rich. But these qualities won't protect them from their own creative ambitions or the betrayals of their hearts. Gabrielle Zevin's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is a dazzling and intricately imagined novel that examines the multifarious nature of identity, disability, failure, the redemptive possibilities in play, and above all, our need to connect, to be loved, and to love. And that about sums it up. Very good. I gave that one a 5-star review for sure. The next book I'm going to talk about is called We Are the Brennens, and it's by Tracy Lang. The main character in this book's name is Sunday. When 29-year-old Sunday Brennan wakes up in a Los Angeles hospital, bruised and battered after a drunk driving accident that she caused, she swallows her pride and goes home to her family in New York. But it's not easy. She deserted them all, and her high school sweetheart of 5 years before with little explanation, and they've got questions. Sunday is determined to rebuild her life back on the East Coast, even if it does mean tiptoeing around resentful brothers and an ex-fiancé. The longer she stays, however, the more she realizes they need her just as much as she needs them. When a dangerous man from her past brings her family's pub business to the brink of financial ruin, the only way to protect them is to upend all of their secrets. Secrets that have damaged the family for generations and will threaten everything they know about their lives. In the aftermath, the Brennan family is forced to confront painful mistakes and ultimately find a way forward together. I love stories that have to do with families, family drama that are real. I mean, it's something that could really happen in life and takes you on an adventure that maybe, I would never experience myself. One of my favorites. Okay, another one that I just recently listened to. It's called The Maid by Nita Prose. Molly Gray is not like everyone else. She struggles with social skills and misreads the intentions of others. Her gran used to interpret the world for her, codifying it into simple rules that Molly could live by. Since Gran died a few months ago, 25-year-old Molly has been navigating life's complexities all by herself. No matter, she throws herself with gusto into her work as a hotel maid. Her unique character, along with her obsessive love of cleaning and proper etiquette, make her an ideal fit for the job. She delights in donning her crisp uniform each morning, stocking her cart with miniature soaps and bottles, and returning guest rooms at the Regency Grand Hotel to a state of perfection. But Molly's orderly life is upended the day she enters the suite of the infamous and wealthy Charles Black, only to find it in a state of disarray and Mr. Black himself dead in his bed. Before she knows what's happening, Molly's unusual demeanor has the police targeting her as the lead suspect. She quickly finds herself caught in a web of deception, one she has no idea how to untangle. Fortunately for Molly, friends she never knew she had unite with her in a search for clues to what really happened to Mr. Black. But will they be able to find the real killer before it's too late? And there you go. It's a genuine mystery, and it has you going each chapter one by one by one, just trying to find out what Molly's fate's going to be, and you fall in love with her because she's just a little bit quirky, doesn't quite fit in, but she still manages her life, you know, with all her gran's sentiments in her head at all times. She's a character to remember. So that's 3. Tomorrow, The Brennens, and The Maid, and we have The Paris Wife. A deeply evocative story of ambition and betrayal, The Paris Wife captures a remarkable period of time, Paris in the 20s, and an extraordinary love affair between two unforgettable people, Ernest Hemingway and his wife Hadley. Now, an aside, these are actually real people, but the story is actually fiction. But really, when I read through this, I became so curious about, was this really his first wife, and is any part of this book true? And I read some facts, and I actually ended up reading another book by Ernest Hemingway called Our Town that he wrote during the time that he was in Paris with this wife, Hadley. So it is true, but the book is actually a fictionalized account. In Chicago in 1920, Hadley Richardson is a quiet 28-year-old who has all but given up on love and happiness until she meets Ernest Hemingway and finds herself captivated by his good looks, intensity, and passionate desire to write. Following a whirlwind courtship and wedding, the pair set sail for Paris, where they become the golden couple in a lively and volatile group of expatriates that includes Gertrude Stein, Ezra Pound, and F. Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald. But the hard drinking and the fast living cafe life does not celebrate traditional notions of family and monogamy, as Hadley struggles with jealousy and self-doubt, and Ernest wrestles with his burgeoning writing career. They must confront a deception that could prove the undoing of one of the great romances in literary history. And it reads like a novel because it is, but it has just those characters in there that you know from real life that were great literaries of the past, so it's very interesting. Drink coffee. As the condensation drips down my leg, and you have to excuse my hair. I know on the last one I said pool hair, but since it is Labor Day, Brian and I are going to try and soak up as much pool time as we can this weekend. It's supposed to be in the 90s or low 90s this weekend, which is pretty hot for Bowling Green this time of year. We've had some really heat, like up almost to 100, and I know it's not anything compared to all of our friends back in Oklahoma, but we had a really hot period, and then last week towards the end of the week it cooled off. So one morning when I went for a walk, it was 59 degrees. It was wonderful, but now we're heating back up, and so we're going to take advantage of the weather and be in the pool a lot. So this was shower hair after the pool to get chlorine out of my hair, and just got my weekend look going on here, so pardon the messy hair. And the 5th book I'm going to talk about that I enjoyed this summer is called Writers and Lovers by Lily King, and here's the synopsis. Blindsided by her mother's sudden death and wrecked by a recent love affair, Casey Peabody has arrived in Massachusetts in the summer of 1997 without a plan. Her mail consists of wedding invitations and final notices from old debt collectors. She now waits tables in Harvard Square and rents a tiny, moldy room at the side of a garage where she works on the novel she's been working on for 6 years. At 31, Casey is still clutching onto something nearly all of her old friends have let go of: the determination to live a creative life. When she falls for two very different men in the same time, her world fractures even more. Casey's fight to fulfill her creative ambitions and balance the conflicting demands of art and life is challenged in ways that push her to the brink. Writers and Lovers is a transfixing novel that explores the terrifying and exhilarating leap between the end of one phase of life and the beginning of another. Once again, it's set in Massachusetts like the other book, Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. And it's just that it's more than coming of age. It's not really coming of age in the sense from high school to college to adult. She's already an adult, and she's just clinging to that creative life, but also at the same time she's racked up lots of debt from college, and just, you know, how is she going to get to that next phase of life successfully? How is she going to navigate her love life, and all while missing her mom too? So this again was a very good book, and I feel like I've had a successful reading summer. I think so far this year I've read about 67 books. Anyway, there you have it for the summer. Hope you all have a happy Labor Day. By the time this goes out, Labor Day will have passed and we'll be getting into fall, hopefully some fall-like temperatures. Thank you for watching. I hope you will give this video a thumbs up, and maybe you will read some of the books that I liked and share some in the comments below that you have read that I can maybe read this fall. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Under the crowd.